What's up? What's up? Now you know what time it is again. Of course, it's time for another movie review, and today I'll be reviewing the movie Intersectional. I'm sorry, Blake Lively's movie Rhythm Section. So Blake Lively is a really good actor. I've been liking a lot of her films, and this is her venture into action adventure drama. And I liked, her film going back in 2000 to 2015. I even liked her in Green Lantern when she was playing opposite Ryan Reynolds. But I liked her in Green Lantern. I liked her in Age of Adeline. I liked her in The Shallows, where she's stuck basically on a rock and in a shallow water in like Mexico, and a shark was trying to eat her. And I liked her in A Simple Favor in 2018. I believe she took a gap in 2019. She didn't have no movie came out in 2019, which was last year. But this year, in January 2020, she has a movie called Rhythm Section. I have to say, Blake Lively is really, really good. She's good at carrying the films. I like watching her and everything. But this film reminded me of a dramatic version of Peppermint that came out in 2018, which is Jennifer Garner's movie, Peppermint. So this movie is, like I said, it's more of a dramatic version of Peppermint, with action adventure elements to it. Whereas Peppermint was a action adventure with a dramatic elements to it. So this is the opposite, except it's based in the rhythm section is based in another country in which Blake Lively puts on like a accent. She's supposed to be in Berlin, but it goes from American accent to a Berlinish German accent. It goes back and forth. So there's a little bit of consistency in her accent, which was off a little bit. And I have to say, the story was a little bit murky, a little bit. It had a really good potential to be a great, 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 great film. Whereas her in this movie, her family is taken away by terrorist attacks, still violence, and she researches and finds out who these terrorists actually really are and basically guns them down. So I really, really do like a good revenge story. It's starting to be cliche though, and it's starting to be formulaic where it's like, okay, I don't know if this is a cultural thing, but or just because I've never seen nobody in real life actually do this, where if something dramatic happens, which is understandable, you do want to change something. But usually in films, like particularly with white leads, white female leads, if they're in a revenge story, they tend to, except with the exception of Kill Bill, they have this long flowy blonde hair or long straight light hair, and they cut their hair and they dye it black or darker color, dark brown or whatever, to represent the mood that they're in or the kind of mentality that they have right now of being in revenge. And it's really just being, it's starting to be cliche and formulaic. Okay, we get that they're in this sinister, revengeful, angry, depressive mood, but why do they have to change their hair? So I'm tired of seeing that in these revenge films. Um, this movie was so murky because it went from her seeking revenge and being depressed, which is understandable, to her being like this terrorist um action adventurous, and it didn't get straight to the point. As in Peppermill, where Jennifer Garner's character goes away for 5 years and she trains all over the world. She's in America and she lives in Los Angeles, and she comes back and she comes with a vengeance. She just basically kills and just chops everybody down who was associated with killing her family. In this film, Blake Lively, she's all over different parts of Europe because her character is European. And we see her training with a character played by Jude Law, a supporting character, but it doesn't make sense why she goes after this particular character. She gets captured by going to his home and looking for his particular character, and he captures her, and then he trains her for however long to avenge her family's death, which was unclear. I did like one scene though where it was like car chasing scene, which was really cool. I watched the B-roll footage, behind the scene footage of how it was filmed, and it was so cool to see close-ups of her in the car and in the car crashing into her crashing into the car. It was really, really cool. That was actually a really good scene. And I think Blake Lively is really good. She's very convincing as this dazed and confused, depressed, angry person that wants to get revenge on her family, which is understandable. Like I said, um, the cinematography was okay. The storyline was okay. The supporting roles, Jude Law was good. but it wasn't outstanding. The supporting role I felt like wasn't even needed. To be honest with you, it could have been edited out. There's an American character that Blake Lively's character runs into, played by Sterling Brown. They were supposed to have a bit of a romance. They have no chemistry at all. It's just completely flat. I felt like they could have just gathered the storyline and narrative a little bit close knit and focused more on the revenge. I think this could have been a really interesting story with terrorism. It's based in the modern world. So they could have really focused on the actual revenge part and then had elements of her making discoveries about this terrorist organization in Berlin, in Scotland, because she went to Scotland in one scene, in one part of the sequence of the movie, and other parts of Europe. And I felt like they really could have stuck to the actual narrative, which is her getting revenge on her family, and then her discovering other terrorist groups, and then tying it all together a little bit better with her sticking to the actual narrative of her getting revenge. I didn't feel like it was triumphant. I didn't feel like it was a solid moment when she actually did get the people back. It was just flat. There's also one scene I do like where there was a terrorist activity on a bus. I thought was really well done. It looks really good on the big screen. But again, it wasn't like I didn't feel like the character really achieved what they wanted because the movie and the narrative is so all over the place and it needed organization, to be honest with you. I give this film a C minus. Now, please subscribe if you do like my videos because I will be uploading at least once a week talking and reviewing movies.